Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Rona Dayz, episode 48 of the show, where I talk about really whatever I want, because during lockdown, there are no rules. Especially if you're a president who tries to overthrow the government and fails pretty much like you failed at everything in your life. There's no consequences. No consequences whatsoever. So my week was pretty good. The momentum I feel is back. For the past few weeks, I've felt pretty burnt out, pretty like just unmotivated, just not. I don't know it. With life, things ebb and flow. There's ups and downs. There's highs. There's lows. There's valleys. There's peaks. And I feel like I broke through. Didn't get as much done necessarily, but I feel like I've made steps in the right direction. Just gotten a lot of stuff done, tweaked a lot of production that I'm doing, whether it's for this show or whether it's for the many faces, kind of implementing new things and just trying to make little adjustments to make things better. Everything's about just little adjustments, trying to tweak stuff, make things better, make things, more interesting, whatever, what have you. Just trying to be better, trying to do for myself. I'm trying to do a better job at what I'm doing, trying to be a better employee to myself. So hopefully I can at some point make enough money to not have to worry about collecting unemployment, not have to worry about, trying to get some shitty job to make ends meet once things clear up. But so that felt good. That felt good. At least mentally, it feels good to kind of know that that momentum, that fuel is back a little bit. Maybe I just needed a break. When it comes to this show and the many faces, I've never taken a week off of this show because I produce it every Sunday. So I've done that every Sunday for like 2 years now. Never taken a Sunday off. And then I've never missed the many faces. Gotten very close, but never missed it. So, I probably need to work out a better schedule to take a little mental break or a little mental vacation here and there, especially when I'm feeling burnt out. But it's hard. I don't know when I'm going to be burnt out. So, I guess I just need to bank extra stuff for those moments. But it is what it is. You move on. You take steps one day at a time. Started off last Sunday, speaking of the day I produce, was the Super Bowl, which I don't care about. But I do care about podcasts. I care about comedy. And there was Two Bears, One Sap was a live event that was where Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura, and Warren Sapp watched the Super Bowl. And it was fun. It was great. I put it on while I was editing the show and doing all of my stuff. I was watching it on my phone, was able to download the NFL app for my Apple TV to put the actual game on, which I barely the feed for the live stream, the Two Bears, One Sap, was slightly ahead of the stream for the football game. So anytime they got excited, I would look up and watch. But I really didn't care. I haven't actually watched the Super Bowl in, oh man, in the last decade I've probably watched the Super Bowl 2 or 3 times. Let's say, right? Let's 2 or 3. That's early on. It's probably been like 7 or 8 years since I've watched the Super Bowl or cared. But it was fun to watch them get drunk. Warren Sapp was a fun guest to have on there. They got a lot of fun questions and a lot of fun conversations. It was just a lot of fun in general. I've enjoyed the YMH crew with the Two Bears, One Cave live events, and also the Your Mom's House live events have been really fun to watch and be a part of. And it seemed seamless. Didn't seem like there were any technical issues, which they had been plagued with in past live streams. It seems like they finally found a host to that's going to be reliable to get their stream out. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a fun, despite having to work the entire time. It was fun to have on in the background while I was working. And it's the closest I'll ever get to why I just don't care about football. I literally don't watch any sports anymore. MMA, I'll put on MMA now and then. I don't follow it. I missed the pay-per-view last night. I still see who wins. I'm still a fan of, the fighters and the MMA in general, a fan of jiu-jitsu, fan of Muay Thai. So I have UFC Fight Pass to watch events, and then eventually I'll watch the UFC replays. But I'm not watching. I'm not following it day and date. I'm not. But that's the only thing sports wise. I tried to get into watching football when I lived in San Diego. Tried to be a fan of the Chargers. It's the first time living in a city that had a professional team. So I was like, yeah, I'll be a fan of the Chargers. And it's really frustrating to be a fan of a team that seems like just I don't agree with how they did it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating to watch people lose because they're doing stupid shit, which the Chargers did nothing but stupid shit and just kind of squandered talent a lot of the time. But so I gave up on that. And then also Chargers fans are so fair weather. I remember working at Costco. I worked at Costco for 13 years selling electronics, and people would come in, whole families would come in on Sundays, everybody wearing their Charger gear, the kids wearing their jerseys, dad's wearing his jersey, his wife's wearing their jersey. And we got, at times when management weren't complete assholes, we were able to put the games on the TVs. I worked in the electronics department. I don't know if I mentioned that. Sold electronics. And, we would try and because people would congregate in that department and buy TVs because the games were on. But you'd see families multiple times. This would happen every Sunday. The Chargers would play. There would be some family come in all geared up, and they didn't even know the game was on. They'd look up at the TVs. They're like, "Oh, the game's on today." It's like you're that much of a poser that you get geared up on Sunday. It's the day of football. You put on all these jerseys that you spend tons of money to buy, because jerseys, official NFL jerseys are not cheap, but you have them for the whole family, but you're not even aware of when they're playing. That's ridiculous. That would be like, I can't imagine a scenario where I wasn't aware that there was a UFC pay-per-view going on. Like, that would just be I'd be looking forward to it. Like, here we go. This is where these fights are going to happen. But there's just so many fair weather fans, so many fake fans that which there's the same thing in MMA. That's why I hated watching UFC fights in sports bars. There's just a bunch of stupid people that don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, I don't really care about. I mean, football's whatever. It's a bunch of people running at each other extremely fast, giving each other brain damage. It's really not very exciting. It's a lot of commercials, a lot of like, oh, let's run a play. Oh, let's run a commercial. Just not a very exciting. I mean, it's exciting when it's going on, but it drags out. As opposed to like MMA, it's just nonstop action. But yeah, Two Bears, One Sap was fun. I've also gotten into melatonin. Just trying to get to sleep is always kind of a difficult thing, and I'm looking for alternatives to just drinking or smoking. So I finally got me some melatonin, and let me tell you something. That shit works. I took too many. So I have little 5 milligram tablets. You're supposed to take one before you go to sleep, which I'm doing now. But they taste so good. They're like little candies. I ate 3 one night, and the next day I could not wake up. I was so out of it. I just felt groggy. Like, when you like wake up, like if somebody were to wake you up in the middle of the night and you just have like your eyelids feel like they weigh 10 pounds and your brain's functioning at about 2 miles an hour, and you're just like, you can't, it's like you can barely get around and do anything. That was me for the entire day. It was crazy. I mean, if you don't test it out, you don't know. But now I know. Now I know. I just take one, and it's worked. I mean, I've been waking up like on like at like never fails. I'll wake up at like 5 in the morning, and then I'll kind of go back to sleep, and then I'll wake up at like 7:30. But recently with the blackout curtain, I've been able to kind of, I may wake up, but I'm able to kind of go back to sleep. My whole sleep, it's one of the things sleeping. I have a hip issue just from sitting down all the time, having bad posture, which I'm slowly working on, trying to get my hip to be not, but it'll be like I sleep on my sides. So I'm constantly having to rotate because my hips will hurt. Like I'll wake up in so much pain in my hip that I have to just roll over to the other side and sleep until that side hurts, and then I roll back over. And it's just a constantly avoiding the pain of my hip pain. But at least I have the melatonin to help me get to sleep. Although there was the other night where it just, for whatever reason, the melatonin wasn't kicking in, and I was up super late. But once I did go to sleep, I slept pretty good. And then I've been doing keto too, so that's like I feel like dialed that in. So it's been a good week. Some ups and downs, a little mistake with the melatonin kind of took me out for a day. I think it was Wednesday where I just couldn't function whatsoever. But at least I know that the melatonin works. I didn't buy a jar of placebos. But yeah, it's a good week. Hope everybody else is doing good. Staying safe, staying healthy, wearing your masks, just not going out in general, ordering your stuff as much as possible. But if you got to work, I'm sorry, and thank you. Make sure you support our sponsor, Ting, that's cell phone service at a reasonable price. Get yourself $25 in credit either to apply to a new phone or your monthly bill. It's the best coverage, same low rates, now with 3 coast-to-coast networks. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting, and get yourself $25 in credit. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!